Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special live episode of WWE Locker Talk review of NXT TakeOver Respect. Wow, I am still recovering a little bit here. What a phenomenal main event. What a phenomenal show overall. This might be the best takeover yet, quality wise. I thoroughly enjoyed every single aspect of tonight's show, and I am here to discuss it with you, to bring you all of my thoughts on the best brand in wrestling, NXT, on the best WWE podcasting, YouTube, internet show, Twitter account, WWE Locker Talk. I'm still out of breath. I had to eat some candy a little bit to keep myself going here, or it might just be because I like candy. It's definitely one of the two. I'll let you pick for yourself what you think of me. But we started off the night big. We started off with the NXT champion Finn Balor teaming with Samoa Joe to take on the mechanics of Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. And okay. And so really there's a few things to take away from this match. The first thing was how impressed I was with Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. They performed really well together. They performed as a team really well. They did all the things that a tag team is supposed to do. They cut the ring in half. They worked on the injured body part of Finn Balor, and they looked really good doing it. They prevented the other team from getting tags. They did everything right to be a successful tag team, and I look forward to seeing more from them in the future. I think the tag team division in NXT is really smoking hot right now, and so I think they have a bright future. But as I predicted, don't know where I was going with that. As I predicted, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe were victorious. However, Balor appeared to be injured with his knee, throwing question into their ability to compete later in the night, which I thought was a good add-in to the story to make it a little more believable if the champion did get beat, and which we'd find out later in the show if that happened or not. Excuse me. But yeah, this match was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I was very impressed, like I said, by the mechanics. Excuse me. And Finn Balor and Samoa Joe are world-class wrestlers and world-class athletes themselves. So it doesn't take much to enjoy a match of theirs. And so that was the first semifinal match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And then we just hopped right back into the next match with Baron Corbin and Rhino taking on Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. Wow, this was once again another fantastic match, another great viewing. I really didn't expect people to get that behind Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. They were hot for Gable, as you might say. And so I was really impressed with that team. I was really impressed with Baron Corbin. I think he's improving each and every week. And at this point, I'm thinking the hate he's getting from the crowd is starting to be more of a heel kind of hate and not a we hate you because you're you kind of hate, which is not the right kind of heat you want to get. The right kind of heat you want to get is making children cry, which we'll get to later. Oh boy. And so, man, the crowd was absolutely hot for Jordan Gable, and these guys were my pick to win it all. And unfortunately, they didn't get it done. Baron Corbin and Rhino picked up the victory. But I enjoyed the crowd chants in this match. Full Sail, as always, delivered. The Gable chants to Kurt Angle's theme was very, very entertaining, very intuitive. No, not intuitive. It used a lot of ingenuity. I don't know words or stuff, but it was a really, really good match. I was disappointed to see that Jordan and Gable didn't pick up the win. I thought that there would be a really good launching pad for their careers. it would have made them a made team. However, with their performance, I think that they are a made team either way. Like I said, with the mechanics, the tag team division is in great hands with the Vaudevillains, with Blake and Murphy, and hopefully not with Enzo and Cass because they're not doing anything with them. So maybe bring them up to the main roster. Maybe yes, no, potentially. I don't know. I just, as you know, I love Enzo and Big Cass, and I want them to win everything. I think a feud between those two and the New Day could be the most entertaining stuff that WWE has done in years. So I hope that happens. I pray that that happens. It could be really, really fun to watch. But like I said, Baron Corbin impressed me as well. That end of days to end the match was really impressive. It was a really nice sequence there. Also, Gable's deadlift German suplex he did on Baron Corbin was very impressive. As you know, it's one of my favorite moves in the arsenal of one Neville, who is unfortunately getting dragged through the mud right now, but that's a topic for a different show. Baron Corbin impressed me. Chad Gable impressed me. Jordan impressed me. Rhino, he's still the man beast. He's still Rhino. He's just a huge guy that you don't want to mess with. And so Corbin and Rhino got the victory, and now we move on to something I was excited about. I think we were all pretty excited about the debut of Asuka, her debut match in NXT against Dana Brooke, who is one of my least favorite people in the world. I can't stand Dana Brooke, which you all know. So I was really looking forward to her getting kicked in the face, and boy, oh boy, was I not disappointed. Asuka was absolutely amazing in this match. Just everything that she did, her ring presence, the psychology, her entrance, her attire, everything was absolutely amazing, and I bought in very quickly. And I look forward to her having some other great matches. She has that kind of it factor, that they talk about, where you don't really know what it is, but they just have that special something that makes them special. And I believe that she has that it. To me, it's something in her eyes. They kind of focus on that smile and that look that she does, and that's what does it for me. I was very impressed, and I'm always impressed to see Dana Brooke get put in her place. They kind of teased a little bit at the end a potential match between Asuka and Emma, which could be really, really good. I'm not really happy with the way they've kind of booked Emma lately, and the fact that she really hasn't been booked. She's kind of been the sidekick to Dana Brooke, which is unfortunate to me because I feel that Emma is by and far 100 times better than Dana Brooke is. She's a really, really good wrestler. If you guys don't remember, by being reminded on Raw each and every week, she's tried to start the Divas Revolution in her match against Paige way back when. She's a phenomenal athlete and a great wrestler. And so I think those two could put on a really, really good match, and I can't wait to see that. And I know our good buddy Steven Searle will absolutely love that match as well, unless Emma doesn't do so hot, in which case she might regret facing off with Asuka, as I assume Dana Brooke does. Those kicks are nasty. One of the people you just wouldn't ever want to mess with, along with someone like Brock Lesnar, except I would rather face Lesnar than her. I don't know why, but I just feel that way. Both are probably a pretty bad people to cross. So, really, really good. One other thing I wanted to touch on this a little bit more. I saw someone commented on Twitter that they thought that Emma would have been a better opponent for Asuka. And while I agree with that from a wrestling standpoint, I think that Dana Brooke is really a perfect starting opponent for Asuka to face because, like I said, there's just something about Dana Brooke that makes you absolutely hate her guts. And she's the person you want to see get beat up each and every week. And so that's what they brought us with this match, and I think that they did really well with that. And so now we move on to a match that I really hope we get to see more of. I hope this turns into a full-blown feud of Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze. And this match was hot from start to finish. These guys were going full bore. They were going right at it from bell to bell. And these are two of the better athletes and better wrestlers in NXT. I'm waiting for Tyler Breeze to get a decent push, but at the same time, he does an incredible job at putting other people over and making other people look good. It's probably just because he is so good looking that naturally some of that gorgeousness, that beautifulness of Tyler Breeze just rubs off on other people. So that might have something to do with it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it was a really good match. I was really glad to see Apollo Crews use a different finishing move. I'm not, once again, completely sold on just a standing moonsault and gorilla press combo. It's just really a fall and a jump onto somebody. And so to me, I don't really buy that. But I really like this inverted kind of powerbomb move. I really enjoyed that. That was a really good match. And like I said, I hope they continue with this match. And that not with this match, with this feud, and that this continues on for several weeks. And so we've moved through a lot of the show here, and I feel like not a lot of time had passed by, but we're already down to just 2 matches left, and I believe there was like an hour left in the show, or something like that. Or no, this match ended, and there was still about an hour left in the show that was scheduled. And so I'm just sorry, Matt. I assumed he didn't watch it. The Cubs were playing, so my bad. Okay, where were we? Final match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe taking on Baron Corbin and Rhino. And I mentioned this on Twitter. Baron Corbin is really the only NXT product in this match. All the other guys came from other places and made their names in other places. And so I thought it was kind of interesting that Corbin was the only guy left in the tournament who was trained. Okay, phone's going bye-bye now. Leave me alone. And so I thought it was interesting that Corbin was the only guy that was really, I guess, trained by Dusty Rhodes and learned his craft. I assume directly from him, or at least part of it. Even though he, you can't take away, he definitely had an impact on all of these guys and everyone in wrestling, because Dusty Rhodes is one of the all-time greatest all-around wrestlers. He could put on a great match. He could talk like no one could ever talk, and he will be dearly missed. But it was interesting the way I thought that Balor's injury played into this match, and I thought it was a good story arc that they kind of put through this whole show, where you weren't sure if Balor was going to be ready to fight the next match. You weren't sure if he was going to be able to go through the whole match. And then there's that lingering thought of everyone on Twitter of, is Samoa Joe going to turn heel against Finn Balor and cost them the tournament, or afterwards beat him up at the very end? And I thought that Finn Balor played that off perfectly. He sold the injury throughout the match as best as one possibly could. And so I have to commend him on this. Balor and Joe get the win with a muscle buster coup de grace combo move, which is really, really cool. 2 fantastic finishing moves to put away Baron Corbin and Rhino. And like I said earlier with Jordan Gable, I thought it would be cool to kind of have an up-and-coming team win this and kind of make their mark on NXT. But at the same time, it was really great seeing Balor and Joe get the win. I don't want to call it a ceremony, but the after-match presentation of the trophy with the whole Rhodes family in the ring, and with Cody Rhodes making a beautiful speech. It just held everything together, and I'm really glad they didn't have Joe turn on Balor at that moment. I thought it was a really special moment that deserved the respect. There we go. We got the name of the show into our show, and I thought it was really well done at the end. Those guys were obviously very touched to be given this honor of winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and the way that they're kind of billing it as is, they say the inaugural. So I assume and I hope that they do one of these again next year, and I think that'd be a really fun way, kind of in the dog days of summer and the end of summer, this time of year when wrestling tends to get kind of bland and a little boring for us WWE fans, which once again is a topic for a whole nother show, another either way for another show. And I think this is a fun way to spice things up. And so here we go. Now we are getting to where there's scheduled to be an hour left in the show, and we only have one match. And this was the women's title match, Iron Woman Bayley against Sasha Banks. And everything they did to build up this match was built up perfectly. One from the first match was the best women's wrestling match I've ever seen in my life at TakeOver Brooklyn. And the video package that they did and the WWE 24 NXT special they showed on the network, chronicling all these people's journey to NXT Brooklyn and how they showcased Sasha and Bayley and showcased that it's been their dream since they were kids to be not only divas in the WWE, but to be professional wrestlers. They wanted to wrestle. They wanted to go out and be the best. And tonight they were the best on the planet, bar none. This was the best match I have seen all year. It was one of the best matches I have ever seen. Just from a wrestling standpoint, it was great and really well done. From an emotional standpoint, it was even better to me. There's not a whole lot of matches where I felt as involved and as invested in this match as I did with this one. You know, I was slamming my fist down on the table when the action increased, and I was breathing heavily. I'm sweating here. If you can see, my hair is absolutely disgusting. And I was emotionally, like, I can't think of very many matches that I've watched live that made me feel this way. I can think, you know, Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Both of those matches, especially the first one, did that for me. But there was just something else. This match was on a different level, and both women performed absolutely amazingly. There was one little mistake in the match, and that was when Sasha kind of spiked her head and her neck on the match, and that had to hurt. You could tell that was affecting her throughout the whole match. She was a little bit off, but at the same time, they then used that to their advantage, and it showed their characters really well when Sasha was injured in the corner, and Bayley went over and picked her up and went to hug her, and Sasha slams her down, and that perfectly showed their characters phenomenally. And so this was just a great back and forth match. And to me, what an Iron Man match is all about is about the pacing. You can't do all your cool stuff in the first 10 minutes of the match and then just kind of sit around and kind of labor through the rest of the match. But they paced all of these different spots and all of this stuff in the entire 30-minute match, and they told an amazing story throughout the match. This wasn't a women's wrestling match. This was a straight up wrestling match, and there are a few times when I can say I've seen that happen when you don't really realize, you know, this is specifically a women's match. I mean, obviously you do. But kind of subconsciously, you're just like, this is an amazing wrestling match. You know, gender does not matter here at all. And this was truly amazing to see. And one of the amazing things to me was the level of heel work by Sasha Banks. My goodness. She was channeling her inner Kevin Owens and shooting past that by a million. It's well known that Izzy is Bayley's biggest fan, and so when Sasha is taunting her and taunting Bayley's family and taking the headband away from Izzy, that was some amazing stuff. Making a kid cry is true heel work at its finest, and it was beautiful to see. And throughout the whole match, it was half and half, ish. Half the fans were for Bayley, half the fans were for Sasha. But the second that happened, everyone in the room hated Sasha Banks, and that was absolutely amazing to see. And the final sequence was amazing. All of it was amazing. I cannot iterate enough how amazing this match was. And you obviously know that because if you're watching this show before you've watched TakeOver, I don't know what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, thanks for the watch anyways. But I don't know, I cannot say enough about this match. This is going to be one of the matches that we all remember for a very long time. Everyone on the main roster, everyone in NXT was tweeting about this match and the build up to this match, how excited they were for this match. People like Mick Foley and people like Kevin Owens, for goodness sake, was talking about how excited he and his family were for this match. And Kevin Owens isn't exactly someone to spread a positive light in the Twitter sphere. And so this, oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. And I feel blessed to have seen this match live, and I feel blessed to have shared it with everyone on Twitter, watching this match and reading through everyone's reactions to everything that was happening throughout the whole night, but especially in the main event. And so I was very happy to be a part about this. And what I loved is that, everyone has differing opinions on wrestling, but everyone loved this match. A lot of people are really upset with the way that the main roster is going right now, but everyone thought this right here is why we love wrestling, and this is why we are fans of sports entertainment. And it was incredible. I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just want to try to explain myself as well as I can how much I thought of this match. And to me, this is match of the year. I would have said before that maybe their first match was match of the year, or the first Cena Owens match, or the second Cena Owens match, or Owen Cesaro, or Cena Sami Zayn, or these. We've had a ton of great matches this year, and so I think we need to be thankful for that instead of kind of dwelling on the negative stuff. But to me, this is the match of the year from a wrestling standpoint, a storytelling standpoint, from an emotional investment standpoint. This match was it. If they can top it, God bless them, because if they can, I want to see it. I don't know if it's possible though. So I don't know. I'm worn out by this. I want to go watch it again, but I need to go do some. I need to do some schoolwork. Lame, I know, but this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the fallout from this, and I just hope to God that they see this and they think, maybe there is something with this NXT and how the women are being shown, and I hope that translate over to the main roster. I mean, I know it can't just be done in the week; it has to be a gradual thing. And honestly, I think they are taking positive steps. But I really hope that this impacts the way that they think about women's wrestling and just the overall product of the main roster, because everyone, as a good, knowledgeable, one of my favorite wrestling brains says, good old JR, everyone made the best of their minutes. They made the most of their minutes. They took the time they had, and everyone showcased their talents perfectly. It was an amazing show. We've wondered whether or not NXT is going to go downhill after guys like Neville and Zayn and Owens are gone, but clearly it is in good hands. I just want to thank all of everyone who put this together. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Triple H, Sarah Del Rey for training these people, everyone who is watching this show, everyone who tweets along with us on Twitter, everyone. This has been really fun, and I'm really glad I get to do this and share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. And so I really hope you all enjoyed this. I've been thinking, this has changed now. I've been thinking I want to do a show where I chronicle my favorite NXT TakeOver matches of all time, and I think we might have a new number one with this one here. But we'll see there. I might let Matt in on that idea, make him go through and watch all those matches as a refresher. Then we can compile a best of the best NXT TakeOver match list, and that should be really fun. But I promise you, once Matt comes back, we will get to that amazing show that we've been promising you for a while now, of John Cena and Randy Orton and the greatest ladder matches of all time. And so that's all I have for everyone. I'm going to stop rambling on here and just saying the same thing over and over again, which I know I tend to do a lot, and I apologize for that. But I just wanted to thank everyone for watching this show. Thank you all for tweeting along. If you don't tweet along with us, make sure you join in on our conversation at wwelockertalk on Twitter. I love interacting with everyone, seeing everyone's different opinions. And so once again, thank you for joining me on this very special 28th episode of Locker Talk, my live reaction to NXT TakeOver Respect. And I'm going to end the show with a very special hashtag of the week. So hashtag Hug Life.